Welcome to Senator John Campbell. Welcome to the 45th Annual Dustoff Summit. As you know well, the Dustoff teams of the Vietnam War risked their lives to rescue those who may otherwise be battlefield. Crews that navigate dense jungles, woven building, and treacherous terrain, all while dodging enemy fire. It's still one crucial to children movement that they still say there are 900,000 lives. I was proud to offer the wall awarding these American heroes in recognition of their extraordinary acts of courage. Thank you everyone who served in the Dustoff crew, and thank you to the servicemen and the clients for your gratitude. I also want to thank the Dustoff Association and Vietnam Dustoff Association for building the legacy of these brave competitors and inspiring the next generation to answer the call of duty. Keep it up and the rest of the song.
Gold medal is the highest civilian honor Congress can bestow, reserved for those whose service has shaped the course of American history and culture. The very first sentence of the text reads, the United States Army Dustoff crewmen, including a pilot, crew chief, and medic, is a helicopter crew member who served honorably during the Vietnam War aboard helicopter air ambulances, which were both non-division and division sets, call signs, and later Congress possessed traits that made them highly successful in their medical evacuation, including downward courage, extreme skill, high-level medical expertise, and an unequal dedication to the preservation of human life. Members of the United States Armed Forces on the ground in Vietnam have knowing that just minutes away, which was instrumental for their well-being, their willingness to fight, and more. Military families and loved ones will receive the quickest and best possible care in the event of a wartime injury, thanks to the crews. To save civilians left an immeasurably positive impression on the people of Vietnam and exemplify the finest ideals of compassion and humanity. So picture this, nearly 100,000 from the brink of death, Dustoff crews in Vietnam. That's not just 900 moments of courage, it's 900,000 futures secured, futures restored, sons and daughters because of fire. Home. Children, because the medic whispered, I got you. I'm not stopping until you're wounded. Pile Z to save a life. Entire family trees that were lost stretch across the world because Dustoff answered the call. We bring that the synopsis of a story. We hope that's John, our executive director, had the privilege of meeting a Dustoff pilot who shared a powerful story. In March 1963, he graduated from a CIA advisor and former special forces medic who was shot in the chest. As was his practice, Bob talked to Dustoff evacuation into Michael shirt pocket. Nearly 50 years later, in 2017, 80 years old, who saved his life. Because of his crew, Michael had a second chance. He lived a full life with his wife, his two children, and a grandchild. That's the legacy of Dustoff. One life, one rescue, one legacy that goes through eternity. Recognized when it passed the Vietnam Dustoff Crew's Congressional Gold Medal Act last fall. That kind of honor doesn't just happen. It took a coalition of veterans, advocates, Congress coming together to make sure the story of Dustoff would not be forgotten. One person did that. A lot of people did. Dustoff's legacy isn't just about one person or about the missions, but the lives that followed, the families that were built, the quiet moments of peace that came after war. Because someone dared to fly into it. Someone dared to say this. The gold medal represents not just recognition of the past, but the declaration that what Dustoff did still echoes through generations. The road to this moment began in the 114th Congress when Medal of Honor recipient, that we all know, Pat Boyd, legislation. For several years, the bill was reintroduced with bipartisan support, but it never really gained full momentum. What it lacked was a coordinated infrastructure to gain full momentum, a coalition to spotlight this community's achievements, persistence, and relentless dedication that we see on the battlefield. Look, if you don't know this, I've been to Congress now for over a year. I've hosted hundreds of meetings. And I can tell you with confidence, nothing moves in Washington with a coalition and a message that resonates. That's what happened in the past year. The Dustoff Association obtained LLP, DC, which donated over 1,200 pro bono legal hours to structure and organize our campaign and launch it nationally. The leadership of Steve, the president of the Vietnam Dustoff Association, Hagen, from the Vietnam Dustoff Association, and with the dedication of the community, the persistence of Jim Brady, Senator Corbin, Rep. Kilmer, and Bush took off. The Vietnam Dustoff Association personally contributed over $15,000, traveling to D.C. repeatedly, held over 300 meetings with members of Congress, and sent over 5,000 letters and emails to advocate for the bill. Early on in my term as president, I saw the importance of this moment, and I reached out to Steve and asked to join forces, to put backgrounds behind us, and to move forward in common cause. Steve graciously agreed. Together, we activated our 3,200 members, coordinated messaging across our social media platforms, and presented a unified front on Capitol Hill. I don't know about you, but my Bible says, where there is unity, God will command a blessing. We were unified, and He commanded a blessing and blessed us effort. I walked the halls with them. Many of you walked the halls later, made phone calls, sent emails to spread the word. With our efforts aligned, the bill gained the momentum it needed, and we built a coalition outside of Congress. Senator Corbin and his staff rallied the Texas House delegation with a strong backing of Senator Cruz and Representative Dirk out of Washington State. The legislation gained ground, senator after senator, representative after representative. The Senate passed the unanimously on July 11, 2024. The House followed on September 17th, and just 9 days later on September 26th, the President signed the bill into law, cementing in history what we already knew: Dustoff matters. So I want to take just a quick moment what honors do. To the Vietnam Dustoff Association, could you please stand? Standing just for a minute. Anyone from the Dustoff Association, walk the halls, post it on social media, talk to someone. Please stand. Thank you. Thank you. One of the contributions to recognized on Capitol Hill. I also want to pause to recognize General Brady, Senator Corbin. General Brady couldn't be here tonight with us. Honor his years of contribution, working with and his staff to craft the bill language and to continue to move it forward. It's not just the Dustoff crews who risked everything to save others. It affirms your place in American history. Our journey's not over. In the months ahead, we've got a lot of questions about this. The U.S. with its design team, guided by the recommendations from our joint leadership between associations and General Brady to find out the design over the next 12 to 18 months. Once completed, the Speaker of the House will host a formal ceremony in the Capitol to present the medal to the Vietnam Dustoff community. This medal will be permanently housed at the AMO Museum at Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, Texas, with additional medals sent to the Medal of Honor Museum in Arlington, Texas, and right here at the National Museum of the U.S. Army at Fort Belvoir, ensuring that future generations of Dustoff. That's a testament to your courage, to every voice that you fire, every soul you carried, every memory you still bear. National recognition was long overdue and long deserved. It's fitting that we led the way. The first ever Congressional Medal awarded to a unit from Vietnam War was done. It doesn't just close a chapter, it opens a door for other heroes still waiting to be seen. Please, round of applause for everybody. Now I'd like to welcome our guests from the Vietnam War Commemoration, who will help us formally recognize the Vietnam Dustoff veterans in the room. Could you please join me on stage? And could our team join us? Will all Vietnam veterans in the room, Dustoff or otherwise, if you're able to, please stand.
I just want to thank Chris and Russ Waygate for inviting us out. Our primary mission, best job I've had since I've been in the military, is thanking and honoring Vietnam veterans. That's any veteran that served from 1955 to 1975. It was a tough time to be in the military. You guys didn't get the welcome home you deserved, and that is our mission now, to give you a welcome home. We'd love to have you come up here. We have 6 presenters that will pin you. Or you got they come out to you if you can't make it up here.
Yeah, we'll come out to you.
Welcome home.
Thank you. we please have one more round of applause for our Vietnam veterans? It's now my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, the 44th Surgeon General of the United States Army, Lieutenant General Mary K. Izaguirre. Please join me in welcoming Lieutenant General Izaguirre.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I just want to say, Jim, thank you for the wonderful blessing. It is really an honor to gather with such a group of heroes tonight. And just to show that always a fierce advocate, I'm always looking to see what is our destiny of the day. So I was wondering, is there anybody who is in the medical company? On this day, May 2nd, 2003, the 498 Medical Company Air Ambulance ends its operation in Operation Iraqi Freedom after the company evacuated 740 patients in 314 missions during 1,607 hours, which are calculating more than you must. And the 498 was awarded Navy Unit Commendation Medal for service. Phenomenal. That's just one of so many. And so that's why, as a flight surgeon, Dustoff is very special to me. I do have to say, I that every unit sees well for your physicals, nothing's wrong with that, nothing's wrong. And then it comes time for the retirement. And, you know, all day. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is such an amazing honor for Sergeant Major and I to be with you tonight. The Dustoff legacy, recognize excellence in the mission today, as well as looking forward to the future. And so, speaking of the legacy, I see quite a few familiar faces here in the audience, and it's so good to be amongst this group. As a flight, the majestic hawk has been near and dear to me for many years. It was the sound of patients coming in. It was sometimes the sound of us coming out. To me, it's the sound of freedom, and you are the ones who make that happen. So I think about what we're doing tonight. Next slide, please. My mind turns back to 1944, and I can't help but notice right here on this wall is Burma. So you all have been part of the fabric of what makes Army medicine, Army, and bringing the life to the soldiers from your very beginning. So 1944, a jungle in Burma, where a U.S. Army Air Forces, to be clear, helicopter pilot, Lieutenant attempted using a helicopter to rescue someone in need. In an underpowered rudimentary Sikorsky helicopter, obviously things have changed a lot over the years. Lieutenant Harmon behind enemy guns, again, flying to the sound of the guns. That on top of a ridge line to rescue an American and 3 British soldiers. Again, intratheater joint command. In the course of the war, he made several more of what he called evacuation flights, pioneering this new technique that you all have perfected over the years. Harmon's first 4 missions accomplished much more than saving the lives of those men. They want a legacy that would save hundreds and thousands more. And we just talked about the Dustoff crews of Vietnam that we recognize tonight, not just medevac crews, pioneers, heroes who built the foundation for modern medevac that has resulted in so many saved lives that you just heard Chris describe. These pioneers, every time I talk to them or read their stories, before I was a flight surgeon, I was a family doc, still am, and I've had the privilege over many years of being regaled by my patients, and then I've also been raised by medevac leaders along the way, several right here in this room. These patients every time. Chief Officer 4, Michael Novosel, a Dustoff Association Hall of Fame member, earned the Medal of Honor for his extraordinary heroism while serving in the 82nd Medical Detachment. He is the Dean of Dustoff, is that true? Dean of Dustoff Pilots, the teachers alone tell an incredible story. 2,543 missions, over 5,500 wounded service members. Of course, the legacy of Major retired Patrick Brady, who rescued so many numbers of wounded soldiers, and he embodies the logo. Now, I have to tell you, I was in Normandy last year and had the privilege of sitting next to Major General Brady. I heard a lot of stories. I think some of them here. He told me about filling the helicopter so full that he had to kind of hop to the edge of the cliff to get enough momentum to catch the blades. He also told me the trick for all sorts of. But then during Desert Shield and Desert Storm, again, all the way down the wall, Cruz wrote new chapters of the story of service. And many veterans here tonight, you played tremendous roles in that era. You weren't just flying missions during those years, and just as Chris so eloquently described, you were really changing the course of history for so many families. Because every soldier you saved was one life, but that individual went home to communities. Generations were touched, and continue to be touched by your service. You represent the best of who we are. Global challenges and new innovations exemplify a number of remarkable stories of successful life-saving interventions and medevac missions. And you impacted unreasonably high expectations for people to believe that they could go forward, knowing the best care was right by them. And I have a video I'd like to share with you that describes one of these remarkable stays and really told this story told by the commander.
I'd like to begin today by sharing the story of an Army Ranger wounded just a few short weeks ago in eastern Afghanistan. His story is not only a testament to the bravery and skill of our Army Rangers, but to the amazing passion, creativity, and skill of Army medical professionals. Wounded on the objective of a high-value target, this sergeant, already a veteran of 3 deployments, was shot twice, just above his ballistic plates. Immediately, the Ranger team performed life-saving first aid, controlling his bleeding and administering freeze-dried plasma. After a difficult exfil, flight medics boarding MH-47 continued to stabilize Ranger Campbell. Using ultrasound in flight, identified another wound causing. After a tail-to-tail swab, the flight surgeon inserted 2 chest tubes. And after Ranger Campbell went into traumatic arrest and loss of blood, he performed a thoracotomy, opening his entire left chest. Again, on MH-47. Identifying a hemorrhage in his lung and surgically correcting it. After 4 minutes of traumatic arrest, Ranger Campbell regained his breathing and stabilized. This Ranger story is amazing. There is not another army on the face of this planet that provides the same level of medical care to its warriors as ours does. These are the words of his commander, and I quote, "This is a Ranger who is alive today thanks to the incredible teamwork and precision skill of all the medical team working on him. This is the most impressive casualty save I have ever heard of in combat theater." End of quote. And I second that emotion.
Our mission is like no other. We do things that no one else does. We go places that other people would never go. That's what makes you all different as Dustoff. No other organization plans and trains to pack up and move these capabilities halfway around the world at a moment's notice. No other organization spans the land, the sea, and the sky around the globe. No other organization does that mission because no other organization can. While the video I showed you wasn't a purely doctrinal medevac mission, what it did benefit from was the advancement of and the investment in flight medicine that you all laid the foundations for. The medics, the flight surgeon, the pilots, the crew chiefs, the trauma teams, the receiving hospital, collectively they executed, but it all started because we were able to get the soldier off the X. One of the early lessons I learned as a young flight surgeon. So look at how far we've come from that first mission in Burma. Look at the legacy that you all have built. And then also look at what will be asked of those who follow in your footsteps. Large-scale combat operations are going to need what medevac has to offer. We must maintain that commitment to unreasonably high survival rates that begins by bringing those soldiers home. Our modern Army air medevac capabilities are built on that legacy. And I shared this story intentionally because it is powerful. And Ranger Campbell's great save went on to impact so many others that would follow. Your commitment to putting casualties first, even when that comes at risk, that is part of your legacy. Your willingness to push the boundaries of the realm of the possible. You consider the impacts of how your mission plays out for your fellow soldier. You challenge the status quo of how care should be delivered in flight, resulting in advancements such as whole blood transfusion. You all led the way in that. And just recently, we even brought that home with our medics on medevac flights here, using that same technology to save trauma patients right here on our soil. So as we look to the future battlefield, we know that technology will change, but the Dustoff culture will remain the same. That commitment to ensuring that no matter where soldiers are in this world, they will go forward with courage because they know the best medical care in the world is right there with them on the battlefield. In this room, there are decades of hard-won experience. I will not count how many decades, that is all up to you all. But countless stories of near misses and great saves. Many anecdotes of new concepts tested, rejected, and those who were adopted. Always with the focus on delivering care at the point of need where the American soldier, sailor, Marine, airman needs it. In this room, this group, you are the reason that many flights were able to continue, and many fights were able to continue because the battlefield was cleared. You're the reason that many warfighters returned home to their loved ones. And I love the story of being able to reunite with the pilot, the crew that saved them. What you have done is exactly what I'm asking of this next generation of Army medicine leaders. I ask them to think critically and creatively. I ask them to be informed, always be looking at how we can better innovate for the best outcomes, test new ideas, concepts, and capabilities to envision the next round. And as Chris mentioned, I have a chance to engage on that regularly at the Army level to advocate for the best for medevac. So your legacy and what I see in those current medevac pilots, those current medevac crews, gives me confidence that our future is bright and our national freedom can be secured. This ceremony comes at a very special time. While we are recognizing the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War, we are also recognizing the 250th birthday of our Army, older even than our nation. We are also recognizing the 250th birthday of Army medicine, because as long as there have been soldiers, there has been Army medicine, and you all are part of that proud legacy. Tonight, the awards we present, heroes we recognize, not only recognize the past, from those first missions in Burma to today's sophisticated medical evacuations, but they also recognize your dedication, your skill, and your courage. To every Dustoff crew member, past and present, your performance has set the standard for battlefield medicine as well as humanitarian care. You have shown that in the most challenging moments, when lives hang in the balance, the human spirit can soar to the greatest heights, sometimes lifted on the blades of a Black Hawk. Thank you for your service and your sacrifice so that others may live. Combat-ready care, this will defend.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Sergeant Major, could you join us on stage too, please? And John? We felt it necessary. First of all, thank you, ma'am, for your kind words and eloquent words to honor this community. We felt it necessary to honor you as a life member in the Dustoff Association for your contributions, past and present, and the ones that are going to echo. Thank you. Major, we don't get where we're at without the good NCOs and warrant officers in our career and the way you fight for the soldiers too. Thank you for what you're doing, what you've always done for Dustoff. Just look forward to the Christ, of course. Thank you. Thank you again, ma'am, for your powerful words and for your steadfast support of the Dustoff community. We'll now take a quick 5 to 10 minute break in place or to the restroom and back promptly to begin our awards presentation. Thank you. seats. We'll return with the formal portion of their dinner. Everybody can take seats. Tonight, the heroes of our past. Now it's time to one thing I want to none of us ever made a mistake flying helicopters that led to an emergency procedure or a hard maintenance. I made a mistake introducing the 46th NASA. Apologize for that. Get right for the record. I'd like to welcome Jeff Salina from Congressional to present today's generation. Dustoff units. Distinguished guests and colleagues, today we have the opportunity to honor an extraordinary individual whose dedication, skill, and leadership set a new standard for excellence in the community. I'm privileged to present Captain Ryan Borden as the 2025 Aviator Leader, an accolade that reflects his unwavering commitment to the Dustoff legacy of the United States Army Air Ambulance Detachment. Captain Borden serves as the commander of the U.S. Army Air Ambulance Detachment, Yakima, Washington. His unit has provided more than 1,500 coverage in the past year, over 200 of which he has personally flown. As a pilot in command, he executed 6 installation medevac missions and 12 defense support civil authorities, often under challenging conditions with limited margins. His efforts facilitated the expedited transport and critical care of numerous personnel, including 8 soldiers, 1 airman, and 14 civilians. Ryan's exceptional airmanship, careful mission planning, and dynamic hoisting techniques have ensured the safe extraction of and timely medical care for both service members and civilians in the communities that he serves in and around Yakima, Washington. These missions, often occurring under the most extreme conditions an aviator can face: mountain extractions at high elevations, high temperatures, unpredictable winds, reduced visibility. Beyond these missions, Captain Borden's leadership extends to enhancing the capabilities and professionalism of his detachment. He has spearheaded interagency training efforts, reducing launch times and improving mission execution. His commitment to excellence and his leadership is demonstrated by passing both an arms inspection and a DES evaluation during the busiest mission season in the unit's history. In addition to his medevac duties, Ryan volunteers as a youth hockey coach, mentoring young athletes in his community. Captain Borden's tireless dedication, innovative leadership, and exceptional flight skills have profoundly impacted the medevac community and the lives of those he has rescued. His exemplary performance and commitment to his mission make him a deserving recipient of the Dustoff Association's Aviator of the Year Award. Please join me in recognizing and celebrating
Captain Ryan Bowden for his outstanding achievements and his unwavering commitment to saving lives. Thank you.
Thank you to the Dustoff Association, distinguished guests, all of our veterans in the room, and current Dustoff crews. I didn't prepare anything, so luckily for you guys, I'll be real quick. Although I might be the individual standing up here, this is much a unit recognition than it is an individual award. I'm extremely humbled and proud to be a part of the USAC team. It is by far the greatest and most selfless group of individuals I've ever been a part of. There isn't a single service member or team member at USAD that isn't willing to move heaven and earth to help somebody in their worst hour of need at a moment's notice. So I thank my team. I'm extremely humbled to be a part of it and to serve alongside of them. And I'd be remiss if not scolded if I didn't recognize my amazing wife who has supported me throughout my entire career. She spent many nights awake, wondering when I'm going to land. She bleeds medevac just as much as I do, and she's always there to do a late Saturday Costco run for the entire USAD team. So thank you. Dustoff.
Presenting the Crew Chief of the Year Award, Dave Creech from Breeze Eastern.
I want to start off by reading a handwritten note from a 32-year-old man who had everything to live for, but one day found himself on the side of a mountain in Washington State, perilously balanced between life and death. This is a note of thanks to the Yakima Dustoff team. He writes, I was rescued off the side of Alaska Mountain on July 8th, 2024, with, among several other serious injuries, a fractured skull. I want to thank you for quick and expert helicopter and medical actions. Immediately following drop-off in Yakima, I was airlifted to Seattle for surgery. I was told that if I had stayed out on that mountain any longer, I would have died. Your team most certainly saved me, and I can't thank you enough. From a young lady named Rebecca, simply said, thank you, John, and the guy with the helmet on, and the pilot, thank you for being there on May 10th. So many times, those that are rescued only see the white helmets of their rescuers. Perhaps a crew chief in a doorway operating a rescue hoist with a facial shield in place, the visor down, the eyes hidden from view. And as in this case, known only as the guy with the helmet on. It has been said, you can count the seeds within an apple, but who can count the apples within a seed? And I often think of that phrase when I think of the Dustoff mission. And John McMahon hinted at this a little bit with a different illustration last night at the Hall of Fame banquet when he quoted from the movie Gladiator, "What we do today echoes in eternity." Sure, we may be able to count the number of lives that we rescued over a career in medical evacuation. Those are the seeds within the apple. And maybe that number is significant. But of those lives that were rescued, how many more lives and how many generations were impacted by each of those singular acts of bravery? From the lives that were saved, how many went on to marry and have families of their own? How many went on to live meaningful and productive lives? Some making huge contributions to society simply because someone selflessly put into practice the immortal words of Major Charles Kelly, "When I have your wounded." How many children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren will go on to save them, will go on to live lives themselves as doctors, nurses, first responders, police officers, firemen? How many will serve in the armed forces? How many will go on to find cures for diseases, perhaps even cancer? Maybe one day one will serve as president of the United States, all because someone, generations earlier, said, "You're wounded." This is true for everyone in here that has saved lives. But in this moment, I want to talk about Sergeant Justin Couverture of the U.S. Army Air Ambulance Detachment, or USAD, Yakima Training Center, Yakima, Washington. He was cited for several instances of bravery in the performance of his duties as crew chief and hoist operator, but I'll focus on just one. For that 32-year-old man that had everything to live for, the one that wrote the note of thanks, Sergeant Justin Couverture was that guy with the helmet on. And what that 32-year-old man will never know is the tight margins the crew was operating in that day at nearly 10,000 feet on the side of that mountain. To say the man was perilously balanced is an understatement. But leaving the man there to die was not an option. When I have your wounded. Just 4%, Sergeant Couverture and his crew elected to use a dynamic hoisting technique where Sergeant Couverture expertly placed his medic on the ground at just the right spot, and then later retrieved his medic and the survivor for the flight back to Yakima. During that flight, Sergeant Couverture assisted the medic by irrigating the head wound and utilizing the trauma panel, maximizing the care provided to the patient and showcasing his commitment to excellence in even the most challenging circumstances. Sergeant Couverture is recognized as one of the most experienced crew chiefs in USAD. In addition to crew chief and hoist operator, Sergeant Couverture is also the NCOIC for aviation life support equipment. He mentors junior crew members, instilling the importance of readiness and professionalism in every task. He dedicated substantial time to training sessions that emphasize emergency protocols, equipment familiarity, and teamwork, ensuring that his crew is always prepared for the unexpected. Sergeant Couvertier's outstanding performance and dedication to the medevac mission is a testament to his character and professionalism. His behavior serves as a guiding light for fellow aircrew members and the broader Dustoff community. So on behalf of all the seeds in an apple, and to a much greater extent, on behalf of all the apples in a seed, I say thank you to our heroes. And on behalf of Breeze Eastern, I'm proud to present to you the 2024 Crew Chief of the Year, the guy with the helmet on, who has since transitioned to civilian service, Sergeant Justin Couvertier.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and Vietnam Dustoffers, thank you. I wouldn't be here today without the previous medevac companies I've served in. I was in 5 units over 10 years out of my 12-year career. They're the ones that made me to the crew chief that I am today, and instilled in me the love that I have for Dustoff, and I'm deeply honored and absolutely humbled to be a part of this group and this family. And I just want to say thank you. And one of those medics are also being recognized later this evening as well. So thank you to him, and thank you to you all. Appreciate it. Presenting the Paramedic of the Year Award from United Rotorcraft and Air Methods, Kurt Mueller.
Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to have the opportunity to spend time among this audience, and especially be a member of this significant association. With a 6-month combat deployment in Syria, flying north of 100 hours over 23 missions, our awardee this evening displayed unprecedented leadership skills and medevac expertise, resulting in significant savings of life across this term. Unfortunately, he took the opportunity over dinner to inform me that he has taken all this skill and all this expertise to fly commercial medevac for one of my major competitors. So I am going to do my best to convert that tonight. We'll see what we can do. But keeping it short, despite that, it is my distinct honor to introduce you tonight to the Medic of the Year awardee, Sergeant First Class Kyle Join. Thank you, sir.
So I also did not prepare anything, exceptional. But I want to thank everybody for being here. All the things you guys saw, Major, Dustoff Association, and my wife and my family. You guys are awesome. You wouldn't be here without you guys putting up with it. the deployments, late nights, all the medevac duty. Appreciate my mom for flying out so she can watch the kids, and my parents see me get this. It is it's a huge honor to me. A lot of the individuals, a lot of my mentors that showed me how to be a flight medic are recipients of these awards. So knowing that I get to be part of that group now is pretty amazing. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate Charlie 33-2 medevac, right? My team leader, Case Langlis, First Sergeant Chris Robertson, Sir Rennie, Dante, all you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Presenting the Rescue of the Year Award, Mike Mudd from Sikorsky.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Chris, thank you for asking us to be here. John, thank you. Certainly distinguished guests, visitors, and our Vietnam veteran patriots. Thanks for your service and example for us, what you did for us so many years ago. I'm Mike Mudd. I'm from Sikorsky Aircraft Corporation. The general mentioned Sikorsky earlier, 1944. She missed one thing. Sikorsky does not produce any underpowered aircraft. Now, historically, she may be accurate. If I take you to Stratford or West Palm Beach, there's some power there. So, and that's a good thing. But I'm glad to be here to present the annual Dustoff Rescue of the Year Award. Sikorsky Aircraft and the medevac community, we've enjoyed a very, very long relationship of over 40 years. No one has that. That's us. We're extremely proud to produce and provide the world's best medical evacuation helicopter, the HH-60M model Black Hawk, to our finest aviators and crew members who deserve to fly only the best helicopter in the world. In keeping with our founder, Igor Sikorsky's vision, we're very proud that the HH-60 continues to serve in both peace at home and conflict around the world, preserving the precious life of those you work so hard to save. Thus far in 2025, crews flying Sikorsky aircraft, not underpowered, were credited with saving 1,706 lives, and more to come as we continue throughout this year. Their past and present sacrifices are truly noteworthy and indicative of all that is good and true in those who serve in the Dustoff community. I stand in awe of your dedication, your skill, and continued commitment to exemplifying the words Major Charles Kelly articulated on a battlefield in South Vietnam in 1964 when I have you wounded. Tonight's award ceremony recognizes an outstanding crew from the Army Aviation Support Facility in Concord, New Hampshire. Their Charlie Company, 3rd of the 238th Medevac, consisting of 70 soldiers and 6 HH-60Ms, flying under the call sign of Wildcat. That standalone company that partnered also with a company from Ohio and Michigan is always extremely busy living out the Dustoff mission, proudly furthering the Dustoff legacy, setting the standard and excellence for the future of this very special community of dedicated patriots. These quiet professionals are exceptional officers and soldiers by any measure of assessment and duly recognized for their life-saving actions on 9 December 2023 in the Great Gulf Presidential Mountain Range. I had to look that up. I live in Florida, so I don't even know anything about mountains. But it's an extensive mountain range. On that very cold and windy day, their heroic efforts saved a severely injured skier who had suffered an open leg fracture in an avalanche and was perishingly hurt on a 45-degree slope, making a landing impossible and requiring a hoist operation. Mount Washington is the highest mountain peak in the presidential range in the northeastern United States and is about 75 miles north of their National Guard hangar. Due to several geographic factors, Mount Washington has some of the worst recorded weather in the world, with erratic conditions and strong winds. The Great Gulf Mountain Range is surrounded by steep strips formed by the northern presidential mountains of Jefferson, Adams, and Madison. The steep gullies make for popular routes for backcountry skiers, but these narrow paths are highly prone to avalanche. This is precisely what happened on the 9th of December. It precipitated a call to professionals flying under that call sign 72. That crew consisted of CW3 Chris Warren, pilot command, CW2C Southeastern pilot, Sergeant Audrey Monroe, crew chief, hoist operator, Staff Sergeant Ethan Major, flight paramedic, Staff Sergeant or Sergeant First Class Aaron DeAngelis, crew chief, and Sergeant First Class Joshua Stone, the flight ops NCO, who coordinated real-time critical ops support throughout this mission. After the initial phone tree notification was executed, this team arrived at the support facility and got ready for a rapid departure. Their aircraft, Cherry 951, was towed out of the hangar, and by 14:48, they were airborne and en route to the rescue site with 30 minutes to the number. Weather conditions at the rescue site were 30 degrees Fahrenheit, with sustained 24-knot winds, gusts of 33 knots. Too cold for me. En route, the crew made contact with the New Hampshire Fish and Game Sergeant Glenn Lucas, coordinating the rescue from Mount Washington. We also had a team from the Mountain Rescue Service team sending in a snowcat in case the Wildcat crew could not get to them. As we know among this audience, that will not be necessary. Once on site, the crew spotted the person waiting in a narrow gully. Situated between rocky outcroppings on that 45-degree slope of snow, the patient was immobile with an open fracture wound. He had been carried down 500 feet and somehow was able to stay above the avalanche on top of the snow. The injured skier was assisted by two other skiers, one his friend and the other one that had skied to help him. Together they built a snow shelf on a very steep slope. The landing area was not suitable to land aircraft. The crew began a hoist checklist to get Staff Sergeant Major on the ground, while Sergeant Monroe and CW2 Eastman in the position of the snow shelf. Strong downdrafts throughout the aircraft. Torque ranged from 65 to 110% as Eastman fought against the strong and turbulent crosswinds on the lee side of the mountain. Sergeant Monroe placed Staff Sergeant Major onto the snow shelf from about 80 feet above that injured skier. In the meantime, Sergeant First Class DeAngelis and Sergeant Monroe attached a top to the stretcher basket and lowered it down to Staff Sergeant Major. The aircraft moved away. The Staff Sergeant Major to have space to prepare the patient for rescue. After assessing the patient's condition, the aircraft was called back in to complete the hoist operation. While lowering the empty hook, CW2 Eastman continued to maintain a steady hover despite being rocked by constant strong downdrafts, and gusts. Mr. Eastman described the hover as feeling as he was going to fly into the side of the hill as the strong winds continued to buffet Black Hawk, requiring significant right cycle to counter the airflow pushing the aircraft down and to the left. Despite the adverse weather conditions, the crew worked diligently to rescue their injured patient. As he was being pulled on board, the crew moved out of the turbulent gully area and began a climb to get over the mountain ridge and head to the west. Moving away from that area, another obstacle confronted the team as the main cabin door was jammed open. Again, pretty cold, right, guys? Yep. So somebody's got to figure that out. CO2 Waring immediately radioed Sergeant Lucas on the ground and requested a place to land. Sergeant Lucas pulled his truck out of the parking lot. Wildcat 7-2 landed in that area, and they were able to undo the jammed cabin door. Mr. Waring directed the aircraft up and began to climb over the mountains to the Dartmouth Hitchcock Hospital. En route, Staff Sergeant Major started an IV, reassessed the injury, and continued medical care and provided it to the skier. Normally, the crew would land at the helipad, Dartmouth Hitchcock. However, deteriorating weather conditions necessitated contacting Boston Center for an instrument landing system approach into Lebanon Airport. Since landing at Dartmouth Hitchcock helipad was no longer an option, Sergeant First Class Stone, back in Concord, coordinated that the Lebanon Fire Department be there to pick up the injured patient. This incredible rescue story doesn't end there, but the Wildcat 7-2 crew needed to get home. It was now night. The clouds were thick, several mountains between them and their home base. They filed for instruments and once more were vectored to Concord through the clouds. I would ask the crew members flying under call sign Wildcat 7-2 to join me on the stage at this time. I got a little more. Got it. Come on up, guys. So, after speaking with Chris Waring, I came away with some important observations about the crew and the National Guard. First, Mr. Waring attributes the success of this mission to their strict focus, rigorous training, and professional teamwork. Secondly, he emphasized that the National Guard truly is a family of professionals, and their long-term continuity is a reason for that success. Lastly, well, here's another thing I want to say too. Also, a very special recognition to all the family members here tonight. While your soldier is away performing his duties, he can do so confidently because he knows you're at home, keeping everything well. Because of your love and support and sacrifice, please stand so you can be recognized specifically. So, on behalf of the 13,000 employees of Sikorsky Aircraft, we're proud to present this rescue award to this outstanding crew.
Hi, everybody. I want to say on behalf of Wildcat 7-2, New Hampshire Army National Guard and Charlie Company, 3rd of the 238, we're absolutely honored to be here tonight to accept this award. It's always extremely humbling to think that our crew goes out and does what we train to do every day, and can save somebody's life and in a meaningful way. And we don't do it for the recognition. So tonight, to be here and be recognized is an incredible feeling. This crew is the right team to go do that mission. It was an incredible mission. We had to deal with a lot of contingencies and those things that we trained for that made those difficult choices very easy to make and do that night. And I can't be more proud of my crew and the legacy that we bring forward. And so thank you, Dustoffers past, present, and future. We're very happy to continue that legacy and continue our commitment to bringing our people home. If we could please have all the awardees come join us in front here or on stage if you can fit. And ma'am, if you and Sergeant Major could join us as well. I'd like to get a photo with everyone. We come to a very sad part of the evening. I'm going to introduce my best friend, John McMahon. Let's come up to the station. And I wanted to tell you that, you know, some people know our relationship. Some people think that we're secretly married. Some people think that I love my wife. I love him more than my wife. That's not true, but pretty close. And I just want to publicly say that John McMahon saved our organization and transformed it so that it could endure life forever. And he has taken us farther in the last 2 years than I thought was possible, and he was the right man for the job. He didn't want the job, but he answered the call and filled the gap and made us better. So John is stepping away as the executive director, and I just wanted to personally, on behalf of the association and all our members, give him a token of our appreciation and let him know that we love him. So please join me in a round of applause for John.
We did it. Yes. Woo! We did it. We did it. It's been 4 years in the making to get us to where we are today, and we made it today too. This is a wonderful event. It took a lot of people to get to where we are tonight. So I'm really thankful for all of our volunteers. I'm going to stay on script like I was commanded to do, and we'll get y'all through this really quickly because I know we're standing between y'all leaving. So I want to say thank you to Dave. He is my best friend. Love the man to death. Met him in 1997 We've been tight ever since. Our families are like family. I mean, they are family. Our kids know each other. They hang out together. They talk to each other. My wife and Michelle are best friends, and I couldn't be more grateful to have the Zimmermans in my life. So I'm really thankful for you, Dave. Love you too, man. So thank you for the beautiful print. I can't say I was really deserving of it. It was never about me. It was never about accolades. It was about you all. It was about our association, and it was about our members and our Dustoffers, and that's truly what it's all about for me. I want to say thank you to the Surgeon General, ma'am, for being here, your presence, for being here. I also want to thank you, which we already talked about, sharing the story about the 498 Medical Company, who was Dustoff. That's my company. I was the XO of the 498 during the longest land invasion in Marine history, and it's what the statistics came from. Ma'am, thank you so much. That made me really proud. I really thought that Dave Zimmerman went through Russ over here to the TSG to put that in there just to make me feel good. He probably did. But, ma'am, thank you for that story. That really made my night, especially tonight. So I just want to say, I've been wanting to say this for a while, but the state of the association is strong. And with our new leadership coming in, it's going to be even stronger. And I'm so excited to see what's going to happen over the next 3, 5, 10 years. I also want to throw a shout out to Jack Leach, because I can't take credit for the Gladiator quote. Jack gave me that last night at about 12 midnight. We were looking at my script, and I was like, wow, that's perfect. Jack, shout out to you, brother, wherever you are. Thank you. So we're going to get through this. So I will always be proud to say that I had the opportunity to serve the Dustoff Association as your secretary in 2010, your vice president for 2 years, or excuse me, for 1 year, your president for 2 years, and your executive director for 2 years, combined 6 years. It's been a long, long ride for me and for my family. I have kids associated with the military and the military, married to the military. They live all over the place, and it's time for me to start spending time with my children and flying and seeing them. So this is the right time for me to depart the organization officially, but I'm not going anywhere, so I'll be around. We came up with a transition plan at the reunion at Fort Benning, Georgia, and y'all know who you are, in August of 2021. It all began sitting around a table in the hospitality suite one night. We discussed decentralizing the duties within the association so there was a single point of failure. And well, from 4 years later, today we did it. And we grew our association from 5 officer positions to 14 officer positions. So really, really proud of that. And these people aren't just people, they're passionate. And that's what I've always told them. They're passionate volunteers, and that's why we got to where we are tonight, because we have passionate volunteers, and I love every one of them. We completed tasks and actions we never thought possible. We created a momentum that is continuously evolving, and it will continue to evolve with the next leadership team. I look forward to seeing what y'all are going to do for the next 10 years. This week, celebrating our Hall of Famers right here in front of you and in this room, our Vietnam Dustoff crew members and Vietnam veterans, our annual awardees, and our beautiful closing of flight plan memorial that we do every year would not have been possible without our volunteers. I also right now want to thank all of our sponsors. We went from a very few sponsors, some staunch sponsors that have been with us for a very long time, Mike Mudd, Sir, and Sikorsky, to 14 sponsors. And I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of our volunteers. A lot of them helped speak with some of these businesses and these representatives, and look at where we are today. They are the lifeblood of this organization, and we would not thrive without our sponsors, and thank you so much, sponsors. To our volunteers, thank you from the bottom of my heart. We had a plan. You all made it possible. I will be forever grateful. Thank you, and Dustoff. So you thought I was leaving. I'm still here. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you our next executive director, Colonel retired Rick Ortiz, and his lovely wife, Diana, who are here with us tonight, right here at this front table. Diana, wave. This is Diana. This is Rick. Rick has always been an incredible leader, but he is even a better husband, father, and friend. His love of Dustoff has no bounds, and he is very passionate about the strategic success of our association. Rick is the perfect person at the right time to lead our association well into the future. Rick comes to us as a career officer with 3 decades of service and as a master aviator. He has commanded at every level to include becoming the Deputy Joint Staff Surgeon and the aeromedical consultant to the Surgeon General for 4 years. His education and certifications are abundant, and he has deployed multiple times operationally and in combat, serving our great nation. Rick, I'm proud of you for volunteering your time and experience to the association, and I'm even prouder to call you my friend, sir. I know, baby. So, Rick, would you come up here real quick, please, sir? Thank you. So Rick was one of those amazing aviators at in my opinion, a young age as a captain. And when I went to the 159th in Germany, my first time, I was a lieutenant aviator, scared to death of that aircraft, hoping that everything that I did was right. And I fly sometimes as a pilot in command over there. I'm like, he's only like a few years younger than me, but he acts like he's been flying for like 20 years. I want to be like him. I was never quite like Rick Ortiz, but he was an outstanding aviator. I just wanted to throw that out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, Rick Ortiz and his new team will be the future of this organization. So the next part of this is something that's a little bittersweet for me, but we are going to farewell our president, Chris Wingate. And for me, this is kind of hard for me to do because Chris has been the best president I've ever known of the Dustoff Association. So if there's presidents out there, I'm sorry if I say it. Chris has been the best president of this association that I have ever known, and I've been coming to these for many, many years. He's better than I was. And I'm really proud to call him a friend, and I'm really sad to see him go. But there are so many wonderful things that I could say about our president, Chris Wingate. And I promise I will keep it to about 185 qualities and accomplishments that he has completed over the last 4 years as vice president and president. It should only take about another 50 minutes, so just chill, relax, we'll be good. So I'm just kidding. But seriously, Chris has been the most incredible and passionate president over the last 2 years, as well as an incredible VP. Chris has been a staunch advocate of the association throughout his career, helping with reunion planning, social media, and marketing, and much, much more. His passion not only matched my passion, it exceeded my passion. He is an expert with idea generation, technical competence and skills, experience as an Army leader and a fellow lieutenant colonel in the Lieutenant Colonel Club, and willing to push every single one of us to be our best in steering this organization to where it is today. Chris was never risk averse about progress. And I will tell you, there were times where I'm like, Chris, come on, slow down. Chris, no, we're not going to do it in DC. Chris, we just need to stay in San Antonio. New website? Yes, I want to do that. Whoa, we're doing it? Like right now? Oh my goodness. New store. Chris, we need a new store. We want it online. Okay, Shopify and Printful. We did everything we talked about. But it came from this man right here. It was his vision. It was our vision collectively. He took it and he went running with it. And I never slowed him down because I will never slow him down. He's passionate and has ideas like he does. And I am forever thankful for you. And so is this association, Chris. So throughout Chris's transition to VP and president, he transitioned out of the Army while he was doing these tasks, interviewing for a new job, managed with Danielle the family business and their beautiful family, their children, ensured he had much family time with Danielle and the kids as he could, and never lost sight of his religious values. He's a man of his word, and he's a staunch advocate of his values and his family's values that he's been taught. Chris has made a significant impact on the Dustoff Association, and his accomplishments will benefit the association well into the future. Chris, I'm proud of you, and I've enjoyed working with you over the last 4 years. We were a great team, and I look forward to seeing you on the Executive Council. I wish you and your beautiful family happiness and prosperity, and I love you, brother. A small token of our appreciation is the standard acrylic plaque that every president gets. I got one from Dan Gower, and now Chris is getting one from me. And I display mine proudly in my office. He just turned it around. Did y'all notice that? And it says, Lieutenant Colonel Chris Wingate from 2023 to 2025, in grateful appreciation for your hard work and dedication while serving as the president of the Dustoff Association. Job well done, Chris. This is his gavel that I'm giving him. When he became president, I didn't give him a gavel because someone in our professional meeting slammed the one we used too hard, it broke, and I had to repair it. Love you, buddy. You have the floor, friend.
John, incredibly humbled by your comments, and I just thank you and the team for the kind words and just the support. Just to be here tonight was a group effort. It was a lot of people to make it happen, and this is just the beginning of all the momentum we really gained together over the last 4 years and even longer than that. I'm going to take a quick moment to introduce my replacement, and then I'll give a brief closing remarks. Lieutenant Colonel retired Pat Zink will build on the legacy while he's president. He's also a legacy Dustoffer like me, whose dad, right? With us, he was a historian for many years, VP for 2. He is a problem solver, like through and through. We saw it last night with seating. We saw it tonight with seating. He was responsible for sequencing and registration for 2 years. And honestly, I'm confident now that he's the president, he'll make sure everyone in attendance actually has a seat. All kidding aside, I'm incredibly optimistic how Pat's going to build on this momentum. Honored to hand over the gavel to retired Army Lieutenant Colonel, 3,000 plus hours, multiple deployments. He's in the AMED Museum History of Army Medical Evacuation movie, where Arrowhead Films went with him on ride along, and you can see his leadership there with his Dustoff unit, his passion for saving lives. And he's contributed the same kind of passion to this organization for many years. He's going to take it to the next level as the president, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do. Please help me welcoming Lieutenant Colonel retired Pat Zink.
Thank you.
Take that. So it doesn't break. All right, what a night, what a legacy. And as I stand here tonight delivering my final remarks, I'm just filled with deep gratitude and pride. For the past 2 years, before that, 2 years as vice president, 8 years as a social media director, member at large, more than 20 years combined in this association. I've seen the association grow, evolve, and rise to new heights. It's been a team effort building upon the foundation set by previous generations. I was also grateful to be the only one of our leaders on the website with hair, so it was exciting. Together we clarified our message, modernized our communications, our outreach and strategy, launched new websites. We rebuilt our store. We overhauled our branding, expanded our sponsorship model to reach more people and to be able to give back to this community what we just haven't been able to do in previous years. Transforming how we support our members, their families, and honor our heritage. Together with our brothers and sisters in the Vietnam Dustoff Association, we've advocated for congressional recognition, culminating the passage of the CGM, as I talked about earlier. We've increased our national visibility, grown our membership, increased our sponsorship significantly, and really put the Dustoff Association back on the map for future generations. A mission, a movement, and a family. All this was possible because of you in this room, our members, our families, our volunteers. To my battle buddies, it wouldn't have been possible without you. We had a really great team. John McMahon, Dave Zimmerman, Pat Zink, Rick Ortiz, Jack Leach, Chris Willis, Cindy Bitar, the rest of the executive committee who just allow me to execute vision and just drive the organization forward and support it. And sometimes bring me back in line respectfully and helpfully, coaching me and mentoring me along the way. Thank you. Thank you for stewarding the vision, allowing me to serve you, serve this legacy, and be a part of the change of the association to make major strides towards becoming our vision, which is a nationally recognized, influential veteran organization that preserves, honors, and grows its legacy to make a difference on the battlefield today and tomorrow. Thank you to my wife, Danielle, my 4 children, aged 9 and under. Yes, our house is always clean and always quiet, so I'm sure you can imagine that, doing this, they allowed me to miss the occasional snuggles for our late night Zoom calls with the rest of the association to help make sure tonight was successful and we honored you appropriately. And to ensure that everyone was properly welcomed home and properly honored. So thank you for being my rock. To our executive director, outgoing John, and our chief information officer, made up title we gave Dave because he was doing all the work and didn't have a title. Thank you for your steady leadership, your mentorship, your support, and guidance throughout this time with the association, and all the rest of the volunteers. To our incoming leaders who inherit a sacred trust, I know you're going to protect it, advance it, and make it stronger. Thank you for answering the call. Lastly, to every Dustoffer, past and present, the mission continues from the battlefields of history to the future of Medevac. Our work is far from done. Thank you to everyone for being here tonight for a historic event. Please move to the loading buses no later than 21:45. We'll depart promptly at 2200, but the hospitality suite will be open to midnight. We'll see you at the 46th Annual Dustoff Summit, May 2026 in San Antonio, Texas. Until then, when I have you wounded, to stay alive at Dustoff.